Hello, welcome back to Heather's Gluten Free Adventures. I haven't quite got that rolling yet. But today I'm going to make some granola. We are currently out of granola, and I've found, so the last granola that we had, my stomach didn't handle it very well, but I'm kind of wondering if it's because I had pumpkin seeds and chia seeds and all these other stuff in it as well. So I'm going to try a basic type of granola that doesn't have any nuts or seeds in it, and I'm going to make it chocolate. So it's a recipe that I found a while back, and I cannot for the life of me remember who it was that I found it with. But I love this recipe. It's not 100% healthy. It does have Rice Krispies in it. And I've tried like puffed rice, that did not work. And then I have wanted to get some of the more whole food Rice Krispies, but my husband loves Rice Krispie treats. They will never be not a part of our life. So it's just one of those things that I've learned to embrace. As long as they're gluten free, right now, it's golden. And I will do it as healthy as I can. But my kitchen's a mess. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna make some bread today. I gotta refill my pantry stuff. This is all the granola or oats that I have right now. So I've got another bag I got to put out, and they are certified gluten-free. And I haven't checked yet, but I'm kind of assuming that they are gluten-free. So it says contains milk and soy. It says it contains milk and soy, but it doesn't say that it contains any wheat, and it doesn't say anything about being processed on equipment that also packaged products that contain peanuts, tree nuts, wheat, and eggs. So these are not certified gluten-free, which is kind of a bummer. It is my last bag. I'm going to try them. If I react, I will know that they're not okay, and I will let you guys know, which is kind of a bummer because I need them to be certified gluten-free. We're going to try them and hope for the best. There are some chocolates I'm finding I react to. I had, what was it? I had a chocolate of some sort, and my stomach did not handle it well. And I don't know if I reacted to the chocolate because of something that was in it, or if it had gluten in it, or if I'm starting to react to chocolate. I noticed like Hershey's nuggets. I cannot eat Hershey's. Hershey's makes my stomach cramp up almost. It's not comfortable. Anyway, I'm gonna get moving on this. Be right back. So before I get started, I need to refill my stocks. So it's one of those things that, being somebody who keeps a food storage pantry, I have my food pantry storage downstairs, and so to have anything upstairs, I don't have room for all of this upstairs. So I just fill up what I need upstairs. And then I keep the rest downstairs where it can be stored long term. And these are going to get used up pretty quickly. I do have a couple ways to seal my jars. I've got one of those, I have one for a vacuum sealer, and I have the one that's the big black one that you set on top, and I love them, especially since I keep so much stuff in jars. I gotta go grab a paint pen. These are the best. I love these things. The crafting ones are okay, but this is more industrial, I believe. It's KT Industries. So you get the cap off, and you're gonna have to kind of pump it. You want to shake it really good and pump it. Anyway, you can figure that out. But for this, I'm going to label this. I'm gonna put K for Kirkland chocolate chips. And I'm using a white pen so I can see it. And today's date is the 10th of January, 26th. And then this is going to go downstairs. And I should be able to fit the rest of these in a quart size jar. Yeah, almost. I'm really not worried about labeling this too much right now because I keep it upstairs and it's going to be gone within no time. However, because I'm testing it to make sure I'm not going to react to it, I am going to put I am going to label this one. I'm going to put a K for Kirkland, and then I'm going to just write chocolate chips. And I'm going to use the same date, that 1/10/26, on it, mostly because I'm just trying to determine that they're okay and that they're safe for my body. We're going to use those. And then I know that I'm going to need more oats. I also, so just to let you know, not only do I date my stuff because I want to know when or how old it is or whatever, but I also want to know how long does it take me to get through one bag. So this one bag that I get from Costco, it is a 5-pound bag of these oats, which I love these. Hopefully I don't react to them. I will be sad. There is something in oats called, I think it's called alanine or alanine. I don't know what it is. It starts with an A. It's all I remember. If I can find it, I'll post it. But it's supposed to kind of mimic a gluten in your system, but it doesn't cause the harm that gluten does. It just mimics some of the symptoms. I don't understand it myself. That's just what I understand. So I'm going to try it and see if I can eat it and it not cause too many problems. Just with no seeds. But in the meantime, I need to stock up more of this because this is only going to be enough for one kind of oat, and I'm going to do chocolate and cinnamon today. And for oats, I like the bigger jars because we normally will go through them. And these are certified organic, gluten-free. They're gluten-free. And I believe they have that certification of gluten-free somewhere. But I'll take it. These guys are supposed to have, this 1 degree is supposed to have some other oat things out there. Oh, I love the smell of these. They're supposed to have something else out there that I'm supposed to be able to, I want to say they have some crispy rice maybe, or maybe it's just, I don't remember. I saw it on Azure Standard. I think it was Azure. Shouldn't say that out loud if I don't know for sure. Normally I keep a few bags of these on hand. This is my last bag right now. My family does love my granola, so even if I cannot eat it, I will still continue to make it for them. I am just hoping that it's the nuts and seeds and not the oats. Although I do love nuts and seeds. And hopefully eventually I'll get back to eating them after my gut heals a little bit. Okay. Now because these are white, I'm not using a white pen. I will use my black pen. And I'm going to write 1 degree oats. I don't need to know they're sprouted. I know they're from 1 degree. And today's date, again, is 1/10/26. And I'm guessing I could probably get these in another half. I'm guessing I'm going to need a gallon, but we'll see. Yeah, I probably could use. We're going to use these, so I'm not worried about it. I should put that they're gluten-free, so take that back. I'm going to put GF down here just so we all know. I don't have any oats that are not gluten-free in the house, so it shouldn't be too confusing, but you never know. Sometimes my girls go down to get stuff and they need to know that it's gluten-free. And then I'm going to set these aside and I'm going to get started. So I'm going to point you down. All the ones that are going downstairs, I'm going to set aside till I can take them downstairs. Okay, we're gonna start out with 3 cups of oats, and I'm gonna go ahead and use it from my old oats first, which I almost used my new oats first. And it's a very forgiving recipe, so you do not have to be exact. We're gonna add 2 cups of the Rice Krispies. My 1 cup measuring spoon won't fit in here, so I got my little half cup out. Two cups. This calls for a half of a cup of coconut oil, and I really like coconut oil in granola. I think it adds a nice taste to it. Ooh, I gotta go with more coconut oil too. We're gonna add that to that. Let's go ahead and get that mixed up quick. I really like maple syrup in my granola. I'm not a big fan of, I like honey, and I love the flavor in granola. I love the flavor of it in the granola. It's a raw local honey, and I hate wasting that honey by cooking it. I don't know if it really does much damage, but I feel like there's a reason it's raw, and I don't really care to cook it. Now I'm going to mix it just to well incorporate all that oil and all that. And there are still clumps of oil in there. That is okay. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla, give or take. And now I'm going to add salt. Generally, you put about a half a teaspoon if you don't like a lot of salt. Me personally, I kind of love sweet and salty. So I'm going to add a little bit more, just a little bit. One of my favorite things about granola is how incredibly easy it is. Okay. All right, now the trick to this is I am going to cook it first. Get it all as evenly laid out as possible. And I'm gonna stick this into my preheated oven at 325 degrees. I'm gonna cook that for about 20 minutes total. So I'm gonna stick it in for 10, check it in 10, give it a stir, do 10 more minutes, and then we'll come back. Okay, so now we're gonna get started on our second one. I just got this from downstairs, and downstairs is cold. So, come on. This is gonna be really hard to get out. Now, I don't even think I can get this out because it is solid. I'm going to go stick it in some warm water and get it melting a little bit. Or, better yet, I'm gonna throw it in my microwave for a few seconds. It doesn't take long, probably 30 seconds to 1 minute total, and I'll show you where it's at. Okay, this was 1 minute in 30-second intervals. Let's see if I can get it out. Kind of. Let's see here. I often like to take these out of these when it's hot out, but it's not very warm. It's cold. It's January. I could go heat it up for longer, but I almost got it all. Okay, so I went and popped it in the microwave for a second. I got a little too much. I am not going to worry about that. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just add a little extra oats to it. Now this one is going to be straight cinnamon, the cinnamon flavored oats. granola. That's what I'm trying to say. This is going to be straight granola flavored. Oh my gosh. This is going to be straight cinnamon flavored granola. Again, I'm doing pretty much the same thing. I'm doing a half a cup of coconut oil, and I'm going to do half a cup of maple syrup. That little trick, there's a little trick out there that you use your oil first and then you put in your sticky sweetener, and it comes out really well, and it does. Works great. I'm going to add my salt. For cinnamon, you want to use 1 or 2 teaspoons. I have Ceylon cinnamon, but I want to finish using up this stuff that I had in my storage before I can't use it anymore. And so you're going to add 1 to 2 teaspoons. We're pretty big cinnamon lovers, so I'm not afraid to be a little heavy-handed on the cinnamon. And I probably have about 2 teaspoons in there. I'll show you. Right there. Ooh, and this pan is cold, so my coconut oil is starting to harden up. And I got the salt, the coconut oil, the cinnamon. I'm gonna stir that all together. Again, I'm okay with a little bit of clumpage. It's gonna spread out as you stir it and cook it, so not too worried about it. And last but not least, add a bit of vanilla. So last time I bought something I bought sorghum at Azure Market. I figured, oh, let's try this sweet sorghum stuff. This stuff is fabulous. It kind of reminds me of a very mild molasses. And it had maybe a cross between a maple syrup and a molasses. And the viscosity is more like a honey. It's a very thick, or even the stuff I never use. Corn syrup. I love the flavor of this. So I'm just going to add just about 2 tablespoons just to add 1, a little extra sweetness, and 2, to add a little bit of that flavor. Did I not pour it in there? Let's try pouring it in there first. I know I have enough sweetener in there, but I really like the flavor of this stuff, and I think it'd be great in granola. It's about 2 tablespoons. Now to this one, I am not going to add Rice Krispies to, because I just like the Rice Krispies in the chocolate one. This one's just going to be straight oats. Plain, simple, boring oats. Not saying oats are boring. Just saying for this, I'm not adding any nuts or seeds. So in that aspect, yes, this is a little boring, a little more boring than usual. And again, I'm adding just a little extra because I got a little extra oil in there. And I'm probably going to add just a little more just because I don't have any nuts or seeds in here. And I normally do about a cup of added nuts and seeds, so that should be good. Having extra oil doesn't do anything but make it a little more crispy, and it makes it delicious. So I'm not worried about it having too much coconut oil. And coconut oil is one of those healthier fats. And now, while this is, as soon as I'm done stirring this, my timer went off, and our chocolate oats, or granola, are ready to be stirred. So I'm going to bring you along for that. This is pantry staples. This is gluten-free. It's better than, you're going to get better quality everything. My salt is Himalayan pink salt, so it still has its minerals. My the sweetener that I use, although it is still a sugar, it's still a sweetener, it also has nutritional value to it. And I think that's really important when you're going to be using stuff like sweeteners, and I think it's very important. So I have a tendency to like to put that in. Okay, so this is about 15 minutes in. It's very wet. I hope it didn't get too much wet in there for my Rice Krispies. You know what I'm going to do? I needed to use that up. Like I said, as the name goes, gluten-free adventures. I am very adventurous in the kitchen. I don't mind doing a little different stuff. We just added some extra oatage because I needed to use it up. oats. I don't know if that's a word. Okay, for the cinnamon one, even though I will stir the cinnamon one, I just prefer the easy cleanup of parchment. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay parchment down and do the same thing with this stuff. And it looks plenty wet, so I'm not gonna be too concerned about not having enough oil for the amount of extra stuff I put in there. I think I could almost even put more oats in here, but I'm gonna call this good. I do like to make bars as well, but for that, I used to use my sourdough starter to make it stick together, and I don't have my sourdough starter. I am working on another sourdough starter. This is straight rice flour, but look at how good that looks. And I started this on the 2nd of January. It is now the 10th, so it's 8 days old. But that is still in the works, and once I start getting that perfected, I'll start opening doors to this kind of, like the sourdough granola bars and all the things. Okay, I will be back when the timer goes off for that next 15 minutes for the chocolate. Okay, so I just pulled it out of the oven. It's been in there for 30 minutes. If you can see, it's kind of got a nice golden brown. You can see where I put the new fresh stuff in there. So I can put in 1 cup of chocolate chips. I'm going to start with a half a cup because I feel like 1 cup is a lot. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it would be okay. I'm going to do 1 cup. Sure, let's do it. And then I'm going to stir this in. And I want to do it while it's still hot. And it can melt the chocolate chips, and the chocolate chips can coat the grains. I have seen online that you can do this chocolate, you can do chocolate granola with cocoa powder. And I might give that a try someday, but I love this recipe. I don't remember the recipe having a full cup of chocolate chips in it. I remember cooking the chocolate chips in with it, but I figured I'm gonna try this way and see if this is. And I really want to get those chocolate chips well incorporated. I've seen some people put peanut butter or almond butter or all those nut butters in there. But again, I'm kind of avoiding nuts at the moment. They all seem to kind of not like my system, or my system doesn't seem to like them. So now I'm just going to lay it back out. Now that's really well thoroughly got the chocolate chips throughout it. And I'm going to let it cool. I'm going to come over and stir it every few minutes just to make sure it doesn't stick too hard to the bottom with those chocolate chips. Doesn't that look lovely? Coconut would be good in here. And I will be back. Okay, so I let this cool. It's still quite wet, and I kind of want it to dry just a little bit. So I might hold on just a little longer. So it's cold. I guess it's not completely cold yet. I'm gonna let this cool just a little longer and let it sit out. It'll probably be later this evening that this will be ready to go. And what I might do, I might stick it in the in the oven on a very low, like heat up the oven. I think my oven goes down to 170. I might put it way down there and just kind of dry this out a little bit, which I should not have had to do. So this is a new, the recipe I remember making, the chocolate chips went in it when I first went to cook it, and through the cooking process it melted and coated everything. I think that this needs to dry more. Very interesting. So I'm gonna go stick it back off to the side and let it do some more drying. And I get the cinnamon I put in the oven. It's done its first 15 minutes. I've stirred it. And then it did it. My mom came in to make her lunch, so I did the second 15 minutes without the camera. But it was just like this. Not quite as wet. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cool a little longer. I'm going to let the other stuff cool, and then I'll put it all together with you. And I don't know if you can tell, we started out with a bunch of the lumps of the grease in here, and it's all gone. It's all incorporated into this now. The chocolate one, I just stuck it back in the oven, actually, and I just left it, it's off, but it's got the heat still from this, and this is all nice and cool and dry. And I'm just going to let that chocolate sit in there for a while. And this is great. The texture is great. It's dry. It's crispy. I'm excited. I will say I would probably not put quite that much oil in it for this much oats. I would probably add another, maybe even another. I would maybe do a 1/4 cup of oil instead of a 1/2 cup. Which is funny because I usually do my own recipe, but I don't measure it, I eyeball it, so that's probably part of my problem here is that I measured instead of using my heart. It's a little too full. My favorite thing about using parchment paper is how quick and easy this pan is going to be to clean. I mean, there's just a little bit of grease on it. Nothing is stuck to it. So there is my, and I have a black, the grommet that was in my lid. I've got these little grommets that I had in there, and this one just broke. Gotta go find some more. This is an old glass jar that I got from a friend that I used to work with at one of the restaurants that I worked with. And I have a few of these kinds of jars, and I use them because I feel like if you don't use them, they are going to get brittle and not be usable anymore. So I use them so that they can get the oils and it keeps them from getting too brittle, I guess. So this is just cinnamon granola. And I'm going to date it. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to just mark it with gluten-free for now. Mostly because it's new for our home and I want everybody to know that it's a safe product or that it's gluten-free. I have my 2 older daughters, my adult daughters that still live at home, and they are going gluten-free with me, which I think is great. I'm not one to believe that gluten-free is, I don't necessarily believe that gluten-free is bad for you. I know it's bad for me, and I'd rather not find out later on when the girls are having problems like I'm having that they shouldn't be eating it either, but who knows? I don't know what's the right way to do it. This is just what I know. I have to go gluten-free, so I'm making the bread, I'm making the stuff. Most of the stuff that I'm going to make is gluten-free. Okay, and I'll come back when the chocolate is ready. Okay, couple things. I just added another cup of Rice Krispies because they're still kind of wet. And that could be because I used the chocolate chips and just melted them in there at the last stage. It could be that I put too much oil. Remember I used the last of the oil that was in that jar? It could have been I put too much oil in it. And honestly, I was going to put away the Rice Krispie treat container that I had filled that jar up with and read the ingredients. And apparently these Rice Krispies have malt barley in them. So I will never be able to eat this. I did have a couple little tastes of it like this. And I'm hoping that I did not hurt myself. So far, so good. I'm not having any issues yet, but it's usually like later on tonight, very early in the morning when I'll start noticing. So this will be for my husband and my girls. I'm going to let them try to eat some of it until they're done, and then we'll throw away the rest because I think it's too wet to store. I don't know. We'll try it. We'll keep it until they can no longer eat it. I'm going to see if I'm going to try doing it how I remembered the recipe and see if that, maybe do it a little more from my memory and a little less from AI. I appreciate AI, but this is not quite what I was looking for. That is a couple granolas that I tried to make gluten-free. I loved the chocolate one. I just need to try making it again. And maybe I will just use oats unless we can get to the store sometime before. I don't even know if I'll make a video on it. Maybe I will, because it will be better with the way it's supposed to be. It's really, I've had it before. I've used to make it actually quite often. I don't know what I did with the recipe. I did not look in my books. Anyway, I am going to try and make this again someday. So part of the reason I wanted to make the granola is one, it's shelf stable, and they're shelf stable ingredients. They are a homemade, healthier version of junk cereals. We don't do cold cereals. Like I have Chex in here somewhere, rice Chex, and we literally have that for very like every once in a while you just get a hankering for a cold cereal, and I like to have stuff like granola on hand because I think that's better for us. I like that it's all pantry staples. They're all stuff that I have in my pantry anyway, although this bag, we threw away the rest of these Rice Krispies because we're not going to eat that. We're not going to have it in the house. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this adventure. Heather's Gluten Free Adventures. I've still not got that name down, but thank you for coming with me. We'll see you next time.